This is me, Joel Gandara. I apologize for being late. I promise I'm never late. I was actually ready about 15 minutes before go time, and as I was getting everything ready, it told me that I needed to have the most up-to-date version of Chrome, and I went back and forth installing Chrome, resetting my computer, realizing I hadn't logged into Facebook in years because my password's already saved and not knowing my password and then having to request a new password. So I apologize for that. For those of you that were here waiting, I'm sorry. Fortunately, you can always watch us on replay in case you got tired of waiting around for me. So I'm going to jump right into the questions. I hope you know, actually, let me give you a real quick background. I know Sean wrote up some information on me, a bio. I've been an entrepreneur since I was in the 4th grade, making a decent living, you could say, since then, buying most of my own toys in 4th grade and beyond. And so let's see, I own e-commerce businesses that sell underwear, swimwear, athletic apparel. I'm no expert in those products, even though we own 19 different brands, and we've acquired a lot of our competitors, and that's where we've gotten a lot of our growth. Be happy to, you can probably read a bio there that's been posted about me. But I'm excited about doing this. I've coached a lot of business owners. I'm in EO, Entrepreneur Organization, and I'm a coach there. And I coach a lot of great business owners, some of which have very big businesses doing as much as one of my guys did $55 million last year. So it's pretty fun to coach a guy like that, but it's also fun to coach people that are nowhere near that because maybe one day they can get up to that. All right, let's jump to the questions. Shelly Merrill asked me, what's my opinion for a great CRM software? I think the most commonly used one, I could be wrong, but one that I hear good things about is Zoho. So we don't use it. We use Zendesk, but to be honest, we're looking to move from Zendesk. You could start with something. I'm never locked into one thing, and I never feel like it's a life-ending decision. You can try something, do a free trial, see if it works for you. And worst case scenario, you're in a month or two, and then you transport the data and you jump to something else that might work better. I think the most common theme that I always talk about is action. Just get going, whatever that is, whatever that CRM, if that's what's keeping you from action, then move on to the next thing. Let's see. So you're using QuickBooks for that, and the contacts, Shelly, that might work for a little while. Over time, you probably want something a little bit more robust. Let's see what else. Freshdesk is another one. It's one we're looking at right now. It's less expensive than Zendesk. So check that one out, Freshdesk. But you can just Google it and you're going to find a bunch of things. I'm sure there's ratings out there. But again, if you want to try it, just try one and see what happens. Any of them I think are going to be better than the contact section in QuickBooks. So go from there. Here's a good question from Carlos Navarrete in Mexico. He asks a few questions. So he says let's see, what are the 3 or 4 principal points that you need to know of the objective of a company in order to acquire that running business? And then let me ask the questions that he asked, and then I'll try to answer them together. What's your favorite way to calculate the price you're going to offer for the deal? And number 3, do you like to buy companies that are growing or companies that have problems? Let's see. He's got a lot of good questions here. Well, he's got a lot of questions. Okay. Some principal points, objective. So I've acquired 10 different businesses. All of them have been in my space, in the things that I know. It doesn't have to be that way, but man, it sure is easier to buy a business that does exactly what you do because you just roll it up. I personally look at a profit and loss statement of a company that does exactly or something similar to what I do, and I get to eliminate the rent, and I get to eliminate some management and some excess employees and all the things that aren't needed. And you get to roll all those up together, and instantly, just like that, you get to save a lot of money on expenses. So when I first started the business, I would have never dreamt to have bought my competitors. We've now bought 10 of them, and these are all the competitors that I looked up to and dreamt that one day I could be like them. you have to be creative in the way you approach these people. That's how I've done it. I built relationship even with competitors. Some of these were wholesale clients of mine. So if I sold wholesale to this company for 10 years, I would always have conversations with them and ask them what their plan is for the future, if they ever plan on selling the business. And those conversations led to eventual negotiations, which led to eventual acquisitions. Let's see, the other question, do you want growing businesses or ones that have problems? Believe it or not, I like companies that have problems, as long because I know how to turn around a business in my space. I don't know how to jump into a business that I don't know. And it's not a matter of what I know and what I don't know. It's a matter of convenience. If I'm already in an industry, it's a lot easier to just make it all flow. You know, if you're selling tennis shoes and tomorrow you want to be selling cell phone covers, that's a big jump and a big learning curve, and there just aren't the same advantages. So yeah, I personally, all the businesses we bought were in trouble, and we really like that. The valuations are really low, and we can turn those around, break even in 12 to 18 months, and then forever after that, they're profitable. Let's see if I can handle one more of Carlos's questions. He had quite a bit. Okay, where do you manufacture clothing? We've made a little bit of products in China, but the great majority of our merchandise, of our factory production comes from Colombia in South America. We have a factory there where we've been producing for 10 years now. Let's see, what process do you follow in order to test the product potential in the market before making a big investment? Well, I'd say that's a great question, because I do not like to gamble the farm or bet the farm. I like to take small risks. So when I first started my first brand, because I was a wholesale distributor for somebody else, I used to bring in someone's brand from overseas, take it to the trade shows and sell. And when I created my first brand, my first order was $80,000. That was a huge risk. I probably had many sleepless nights. Now, while I can afford to do that and we can place big orders, we do it even more careful now. So we'll place a particular product, let's say this shirt, if I want to make this in 4 colors, and each one in small, medium, large, extra large, I'll order 72 of each color, broken up over 4 sizes. So I always try to take as small a gamble as I can. Now, reorders, it's a fantastic selling item. I don't have a problem ordering 500 of them because I know they're going to sell. So just take small bets until you know for sure. Let's see, what else? Do we use influencers? You guys are probably much stronger than I in this field, because we went from being wholesalers to just jumping to direct to consumer in the last few years. So we're still learning and still improving. But yes, we do use influencers. We haven't maxed this out to our capabilities, but we just brought in a great marketing person in-house that I think is going to help us do all that. Let's see. All right, let's go to next person's question is Stella. And Stella, I apologize. That is a tough last name, Njezic, with a lot of accent marks. So I'll guess Njezic. She's starting her first online shop with Shopify, fitness-related products. And Shopify offers great marketing tools, but I'm still concerned on how to make people care about my product. How do I clearly, but also quickly communicate my selling points and convince someone that they should be my customers? Well, online it's tough because you got to convince them this is a great product and what it does. I hope that your product is so different and so unique that that's going to come across online. Otherwise, related to the previous question, I think this is something where an influencer could kind of help you promote that, and hopefully not in a too salesy of a way, but without knowing what your products are and coming up with some ideas on what how you can best do that, that's a little bit tough. Feel free to follow up on that question that you asked and put a link and include more details. Let's see. What other questions? I know we have more questions. And I apologize, I'm trying to dig through. Feel free, I know we have a few people here. Sylvia Knox, Eddie Villa, Marcus Woods. Marcus asked it. Oh, okay, Stella, so I was close on your name. Marcus Woods, he's asking, how do you find influencers? there's multiple ways, but again, we aren't big influencer folks. Excuse me while I just try to go back into the questions here. Sorry, guys. This is my first time joining you guys and doing a session. I promise that when I'm face to face with people, I can focus a little bit better. I'm just trying to find all the questions as I go back in here into the chat. Well, if I can't, I can always fill time because I can talk a lot and I can tell you some stories. But to answer that question, Marcus, how do you find influencers? Well, if you look for anything, you're going to find it. Even Googling that, how does one find influencers? I'm sure you'll find a bunch of possible solutions, but I would look in your space. I happen to own underwear brands and swimwear brands and athletic apparel brands, and finding influencers, even though we haven't made a strong push in that field, has not been a problem for us. And we've emailed them or contacted them through Instagram, and we've asked them if they're interested in promoting our stuff. Now, if they're small and maybe have a following of 20,000 or 10,000 or even 5,000, we've offered them free products and they've liked that. They've told us that in exchange for that, for every product, they'll put a post and we get to use those pictures and they get to promote our brand. So it's a win-win situation. We have paid for influencers, primarily YouTube influencers, and I like that because the YouTube videos will be up there forever, and I see some of them where we give them, I don't know, a couple $100 and spend a couple $100 on the products, and those videos will get 50, 70, 80,000 views, and they're there forever, so they continue to get more and more views, and we make sure we're prominently placed on there. I apologize that I'm not going to sit here and play with my phone while I try to find all the questions that came up. But man, there were some very good questions. I wish I had them all in front of me at this moment. Anyway, I'll just tell you some general things that I kind of remember as I was reading those questions yesterday and today, and just some of the thoughts that came up. I'll tell you something. I grew up very poor, but knew that I didn't want to be poor, and I always emphasize that because that kind of fed me and gave me a hunger and a desire to push forward. And what that did, it made me hustle. And that's the only difference that I've had. You know, I've built a 7-figure income for myself. I now work in my business maybe 4 hours a week. That's not 4 hours a day. It's maybe 4 hours a week. There's a good book by Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week. I read that years ago and started implementing those things, and they really, really worked. But in the beginning, I worked 16 hours a day. I hustled and I worked really, really hard to get something going. In fact, that reminded me of one of the questions that I did read this morning. And someone said, you know, when you were grinding and working 100+ hours a week, which I did, I really did work 100+ hours a week in the beginning. And the question was something like, did you utilize your time efficiently? So did you have like someone cook for you? I'll be honest with you. There was no cooking. It was McDonald's drive-through. I don't eat like that anymore. I eat extremely healthy. But it was McDonald's drive-through, or it was TV dinners, or it was cup of noodle soup, or top ramen. That's how I ate. You know, I was 22 years old and sleeping 4 hours a day, working 1 to 2 full-time jobs at all times, and then hustling on the side with an eBay store or doing flea markets in the 90s or whatever it may have been. So yeah, I wish I could have the luxury of saying, yeah, I had somebody cook for me because my time was so valuable. And yes, it probably was, but I didn't have any money to do that. And all I knew was how to grind and save money and invest in the next thing. So, all right, here's a question from Dina Klein. Do you have a percentage structure you use for a marketing budget? That's a good question. And I know that people do that, and it might be, I don't know, 4%, 5%, 10%, whatever it might be. We do not. I function very differently. I've never done it that way. I do everything based on value. So if I see X amount of dollars gives me a return of X amount of dollars, then that makes sense, and I do it on a case-by-case basis, whatever that might be. You know, a case might be a marketing plan that lasts 3 months or whatever, or a year, but it's not forever. Because we made so much, we have to spend so much. I'm not in a land grab business. I'm trying to be profitable at all times. I haven't had a month that hasn't been profitable in over a decade or many more. So So yeah, I may function very differently. I'll be honest with you guys. I've never made a budget. I've never made a business plan. We sell millions of dollars every year, make over $1 million every year for the last 4 years. And right before that, we're probably like at 800,000 or 900,000. And so we've been building the business steadily, but no marketing plan, no marketing budget. Again, no business plan. I don't even know. I honestly do not know what a business plan looks like. I'm very non-corporate, and I don't understand a lot of those terms. And I am friends with a lot of entrepreneurs, and a lot of us are the same. So I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not this professional corporate guy. I've struggled and grinded it out. Let's see. Sylvia Knox, what platform do you recommend for e-commerce, WordPress or Shopify? We were on OpenCart for the last 6 years, and that had to be managed by our technology team in India, and it was a hassle. So we are now in the process of migrating 9 sites to Shopify Plus, and so far we are thrilled with it. Maybe Shopify Plus is not for you. We're paying $5,000 a month between multiple sites. We negotiated, I think they charge like $2,000 a site. We're moving over 9 sites, and they capped us out at $5,000. So we signed a contract for that. So it doesn't have to be Plus. It could be regular Shopify. I have friends who sell a few $1 million on sites, and they use Shopify, not Shopify Plus. So I think you'll be fine with it. Today, I did go to my office. I mentioned that in case you just joined us. I don't go in too often. Built the business, and I'm free from that nowadays. But I did get a little quick lesson on how efficient and how awesome Shopify is. We had a Shopify Plus. We had a question on something, and I don't remember if it was through an app on Shopify or with Shopify Plus, but all we did was a live chat, and in 1 second they sent us back the answer. So we said we would like the site to not have this on it. We want to add this instead. And the chat representative immediately texted us back and said, "Here's the code. Put this in," and boom, it solved the problem. So that's my personal experience with Shopify. Again, I'm not a doer. I'm a visionary. I run the company from a visionary perspective. I have an integrator now. By the way, if you don't have an integrator, you are the integrator. Nothing's wrong with that when you're early on and grinding. I know I did that for many years. Yeah, but Sylvia, so far from what I've seen with Shopify, I love it, and I can't wait to get all 9 of our sites on there. We hope to go live with our first one on Shopify by Friday, and so I'll know a little bit more about Shopify after that. Let's see. Dina Klein, you said that in 4-hour work week, Tim talks a lot about outsourcing. Do you find the quality diminishes while you outsource? How do you manage that difference in quality? Absolutely. Dina, I don't know what you do, but you're probably better than most people at what you do. And if you go to outsource it, quality might diminish a little bit. So in my opinion, I outsource the things that are just normal things, functions, but there's certain things you can't outsource. Let's see. You can't outsource strategy. I love strategy. And no matter who I hire, if I have X amount of people that all make 6 figures and they're all important in my organization, strategy is on me. I love that. It's number one, it's what I'm really good at, I think. So far it's paid off, and I like it. So I don't want to take those 2 things away from myself, or that 1 thing away from myself. I happen to love executing on buying other companies, competitors and customers' businesses. So I want to keep doing that. I'm not going to outsource that in any way. What I would outsource, I'd start with number 1, what you hate doing and what you are horrible at. If you can find the combination of those 2 things, that's where you start. And then you work your way to maybe something you like doing, but you're really not great at it. That's something to consider outsourcing, right? And work your way that way. Keep the things that you love and that you are good at. But having said that, make sure that the things that you love doing make you money. I hope that the things that you love doing are not playing on Excel and running spreadsheets and entering data. That doesn't make you too much money as far as I know. Oh, I remembered a question. In case you just joined, I didn't want to play with my phone and try to figure out all the questions, but I remembered one today. It was about, someone asked about what's the difference between an employee mindset and an owner's mindset. That should be very clear. I've had some great employees that have been with me for 9 years, and some that not as long, but who have been great employees. And they're great, but in the end, no one cares about your business as much as you do. So at some point you'll realize this. Even if you have the best employee and he or she has been with you for 4 or 5 years, 6 years, at one point something might happen where you're going to realize, you know what, they're not the owner, and I can see it. And even if you compensate them well, they may get burned out, they may get tired. Even owners get burned out and tired, but in my opinion, the difference between an owner and an employee is how much you care about the business. And by the way, not about the industry or the product. I'm not passionate about products. I'm passionate about building a business, and I absolutely love to make money. I'm a capitalist. I love making money. I love growing my business, and I love taking all that cash that I make and investing it into other things that can continue to grow, whether that's real estate or stock market, or investing in other businesses or acquisitions, which I really love. So yeah, there's a clear difference. When I was building, like right now, I'll give you an example. We're planning this summer, and I plan to be away and traveling a lot. That's not how I built my business, though. I built my business working 7 days a week, working 16 hours a day. I don't know of too many employees who would have done that. So there's a very clear difference there between employee mindset. And by the way, entrepreneurship is a very popular word nowadays. I never heard it too much when I was younger. Now everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but it's not for everybody. And some of the people that I coach, they haven't recognized that yet. They're not entrepreneurs, and I'd rather not coach them anymore and have them go into a job that they love and they're passionate about. But you can try. Go ahead and try to be an entrepreneur. But I just want to say it isn't for everyone. So yeah, very clear differences. All right, let's see. Robin Turpin, thank you, Joel, for your answer. With working very hard to earn money, I find myself neglecting my health. I appreciate your input. Robin, I was there. I get it. If I could go back, I would have made some differences, some changes. It's never, if you need shade, the best time to have planted a tree was 10 years ago. Well, the second best time is today. It may take 10 more years to get the results that you want and get that shaded tree, but start right now. And I think it's, I read a lot of books. I run a lot. Sometimes when I do go to my office, I run there. It's 10 miles nonstop. And so I try to work out a lot, but I also try to listen to audiobooks, and whether they're on business, on health, on self-improvement, all those things. Well, some of those are about building habits, whether it's The Power of Habits. I've read multiple habit books. I don't remember all the names right now, but do not neglect your health. I think it all goes hand in hand, Robin. Your health, your personal life, your business life. If any one of those is suffering, I think it all suffers, especially as an entrepreneur where you are your business and your business is you. I'm assuming that most of us here on here, you're not at the level yet where you can just walk away from your business and have it grow 20% without you. You guys are your business. So I read 15 years ago or so a book by one of the greatest salesperson of all time, Zig Ziglar, and he made a very good point. He said that if you have a racehorse that's very expensive and very valuable, would you give it junk food, and would you let it stay up all night, and would you feed it alcohol and all these bad things, and would you not let it exercise? Absolutely not. You would take care of that racehorse. Well, you are that racehorse. You're that thoroughbred. Take care of yourself. And by the way, everybody knows how to take care of themselves, just like everybody knows how to save money. It's all so simple. Don't eat. I take a lot of pride in my health and in the condition I'm in. So here's as simple as I do it. I happen to do intermittent fasting. I absolutely love it. I'll start eating at 11 a.m. So today I had breakfast, I think 11. Actually, no, I started eating at noon today, and I stopped eating at 5 p.m. So I had one meal at noon, I had a small snack in between, and then I finished eating at 5. That has changed my metabolism. It's helped me burn fat, extremely healthy. And you guys are thinking this is a business thing. Why is he talking so much about health? If you're not in good health, I really think your focus goes away, your fatigue kicks in. There's a lot of bad things that happen. Oh, and then I'll stop talking about health for now, but the other one is low carbs. Do not eat a lot of sugar. It's a poison. I watch one thing on TV and only one thing, and it's documentaries right before I go to bed. And I only watch like 10 minutes and I fall asleep. Then the next night I'll fast forward 10 minutes and watch that little bit. And that's all the TV I watch. It's a few minutes at night. But yeah, the more I watch about food and nutrition, the more I see sugar is poison. It's not the same food as when I was a kid and when our parents were kids. So eat healthy, take care of yourself. If you don't have time or the money to join a gym, then look, tonight I went for a walk for about 30 minutes. and I haven't run yet, so I'll either run tonight or I'll go to the gym, but I always do something productive every day, and it's got to be meaningful. All right, Sylvia Knox, you're saying here, you are in a competitive industry. What set you apart from others? I was in the, you know what, when I started this, I'm in Miami right now, it's 7:30. It's still light out, but I'm going to turn on the light because it's getting a little dark. Excuse me while I do that. All right, I hope that helps. So yes, I'm in a competitive industry. What set me aside from other people, I found it to be so simple, and other people complicated matters. I started as a wholesale distributor, so I would go to trade shows in Las Vegas 4 times a year. I'd go to Paris twice a year and set up a booth and offer my products to stores. That's how I started this business, or kind of the middle stage of the business. It actually started in a flea market, started going to eBay, went to trade shows and did wholesale, and grew from there. Well, what set me aside is what my customers told me about myself. I figured, hey, I'm working really hard and doing the best I can. Everybody else must be doing it. And then my customers started hinting to me what the differences were between me and my competitors, and that was interesting. It's, hey, Joel, every time we send you orders, you email instantly and tell us, thank you for the order, we got it, and we're working on it, and we'll get it out of our warehouse by tomorrow. And then I'd send them the email, or our team in the warehouse would send the email and say, your order's been shipped, here it is, here's your invoice, here's your tracking number, it goes out today. So instantly email them, and then we lied. We told them it was going out tomorrow. It would go out that very same day. So we'd fill their order as close to 100% as possible and get it out really quickly. That set us apart. That helped our companies we would sell wholesale to catalog companies, websites, brick and mortar stores, and because we were such a good, reliable partner and vendor for them, they promoted our brands, they put it main page, and that helped. So when we started going direct to consumer and buying those customers of ours, or buying other customers, then competing against those old clients of ours, we already had a brand. They helped us establish a brand because we did a good job. They helped us. And there's many more tactics to that, Sylvia, but I can share that right off the bat. All right, let's see. Shelly asked about the CRM that we recommend. Actually, Shelly, that is one of the questions that I did. I know you showed up late, but I did find that, and I did answer it at the beginning. And I said Zoho is one that I hear very good things about. And what else did we say? We use Zendesk. We're paying way too much. I think we pay $600 a month for it. So we're looking at Freshdesk, I think it is. Again, I'm not in the day-to-day, so I apologize about the details about my integrator that I have, is my VP of operations. He could answer every one of these technical questions. I'm more of a mindset person, and again, in case you weren't on here, I'm a visionary, and I provide the strategy for the company. All right, let's see what else. Eddie V, for direct-to-consumer e-commerce products, are there any suggestions for lowering my shipping costs on large items? I haven't launched my first product yet, so I'm looking around to lower shipping. That's interesting. The reason I went to my warehouse today is because we're bringing in we don't do third-party fulfillment for everybody, but we are doing it for a company. And we talked about specifically that today, how to lower shipping. So a couple things. You don't want to ship air. So you don't want to ship big boxes that have a lot of air in it, because you're going to get charged dimensional weight. You're going to want to have products that fit very well into the boxes. You're going to want to negotiate rates. Even if you're brand new, go to FedEx and go to UPS and use them against each other. I learned that, and it took me years to learn that after spending so much money. And we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars today on shipping. But you negotiate those rates. They're totally negotiable. And I have a lot of friends who own businesses, and one of them has a very cool business. It's called 71pounds.com, 71lbs.com. I don't earn any money for recommending him, but we use him, and we save so much money, because whenever FedEx or UPS or a freight company or anyone delivers even 1 minute late on a promised guaranteed shipping, you get your full money back. And all you do is hand over to 71pounds.com your login information for FedEx or UPS or whatever, and their algorithm runs in the back checking your shipments every day. So if it's guaranteed 8 a.m. and it got delivered at 8:01, you will get 100% refund. That has saved us a lot of money on shipping, Eddie. So look into 71 pounds. I recommend them. They've been fantastic for us. Oh, by the way, they don't charge you up front. So that company, 71 pound, takes half your savings and you keep the other half. But you did zero work for it and you get free money. It's the best email I get all week when I see you've just saved $500. You've just saved $400. You did nothing. All right, let's see. Yeah, Janie, I'm glad you see the same thing about health. It's super important. I could talk all day about health. I'm really into it. Okay, let's see. Dina Klein. I've been thinking a lot about unique approaches to VCs and angels. You mentioned that you don't do pitch decks, etc. You think there's a way to escape traditional approaches to getting capital? I can only talk to you about what I know best. I have a lot of friends in business, and some of them or all of them are specialists in one thing or another and have had a lot of success. I've never pitched to any VCs or angels. Here's what I did. I started in poverty, and I made $1, and I saved it. Oh, by the way, I came to this country on a small boat as a refugee when I was younger, when I was 4.5 years old. So started there, made $1 in 4th grade, selling trading cards and pencils and stamps and all this stuff that I sold to my friends, and I saved it. Then I bought a couple more, and that made me $2. And then I bought a couple more, and that's how I've lived my entire life. When I was 22 years old, I had $32,000 saved up, despite living at home, but paying $400 a month in rent to my parents, paying my car insurance, paying my food, paying everything. I still managed to save up money and just kept investing along the way. So I apologize. I have other people that I can get you in touch with all about VCs, and there are VCs. Some of them are angels. Some of them prepare pitch decks. I know all these people. I'm not the guy for that. I know how to save money by running a lean operation and in reinvesting that money. So we've acquired over $1 million of competitors' businesses by buying their businesses, taking overnight their URL, 30, 40,000 emails of good customers, their trademarks, and that's how we've built our business, really. So that's where we are. All right, Stella, what are the main things that I need to put my focus on when developing a great strategy plan for a startup? This is, that's hard, Stella. It's easy to come up with it with a back and forth conversation. Like, okay, if you were here and we could talk face to face, that'd be much easier. Like, what's your plan? What are you thinking about? It's hard to just give one answer that says, oh yeah, focus on this. But if I had to try, I like to test things out. So depending on what your business is, if there's a way to start testing, I've never planned this huge elaborate strategy behind the scenes to then start. I just get going and start. But how do you keep costs low? What makes you different? How good is your product? Look at all those things. Is this an Amazon business? Is this something you can promote on Instagram? How do you save money? How do you get a good vendor? Look into all those things. Be happy to answer if I could more directly if you message me on that. Let's see. Robin, you said, thank you so much, Joel. I think I'll start looking at working out as part of my job. And by the way, Robin, this is simple. Many years ago, I found myself out of shape, and this actually happens. I read an article that when women have children, their partners get out of shape and their partners produce less testosterone temporarily, I think. And that happened to me when I had 2 young babies and I wasn't working out. I just, just like it wears out a woman who has a baby, it wears out the guy who's helping too. So then the way I got myself out of that funk, if I was sitting there with the kids, I would do leg lifts. So we were watching a Barney or whatever, and I would only sit down if I was doing like leg lifts. So I was working my abs, I was working my legs. If I had a break for X amount of minutes, I would do push-ups. Still till this day, I don't go into the shower without doing push-ups. So whatever it is, it doesn't have to be this whole, I got to go to the gym. Okay, promise yourself you do 10 push-ups every day before you take a shower. I hope you take that shower every day, otherwise it'll ruin that. So just these little tiny habits that you build up, and pretty soon you're going to say, this is a joke. I'm only doing 10 push-ups. Let me do 15. And you slowly build that up. Let's see. Sylvia, would you say the way of packaging order is very important or not really? The way of packaging. So we ship hundreds of packages out of my warehouse. So I think the question is about packaging. We ship hundreds of packages out of my warehouse, and that is something I enjoy. It's the logistics portion of our business. I think we're the most lean, and that's why we've been able to buy 10 of our competitors, because I've been to my competitors' warehouses, and I see how they operate, and there's waste everywhere. They're not packaging things correctly. They're not shipping in the most efficient manner. I don't tell them that. We just try to buy their business and do it ourselves. Yeah, it's extremely important the way you package. I've seen companies package where if they would just use a box that's a little smaller, or a bag, if they would just fold the bag, you're talking $2, $3 of savings per package. If we let that go, we would spend I don't know, $100,000 extra in shipping every year. So look at, there's little things like if you're going to ship with the postal service and it's over a pound, it's got to go priority mail, right? So, but they have, if it fits, it ships. That's what it's called. There was an ad campaign years ago on TV about it. So if you go in a medium flat rate box, it's maybe $11 or $12, and the box is free. If you use your own box, first of all, you're paying $1.50 for the box or whatever it is, and then you're going to pay like $15 for the shipping. Well, use their box; it's free, and you're going to pay $11 for shipping. You know? So examples like that you can save a lot of money. That comes with experience. But here's what I found: you don't get experience just by doing. You get experience by doing and being extremely curious. So every time we do something, I love to wonder, like, what is this? Is this the best way of doing it? And I thought everybody did that. And I've had to, in the past, I've had to manage employees that didn't do that. And I'm always surprised that people, they don't question things. They just do it that way because I guess that's the way they've always done it. That makes me sick to hear that. We don't allow that. So, yeah, question everything. Question, why are we shipping it this way? Is this the most affordable way? Call the U.S. Postal Service. Ask if you can speak to a sales rep. Google it. Look at resources like this one, and whatever. There's all kinds of information out there that you can keep getting better every day. You sharpen the saw and just keep getting better. Tony Marie Mercaldi, that's great to hear that you hula hoop on your breaks. See, that's a perfect. You imagine me doing that? I don't do that, but that's fantastic. I'll take that as an equivalent to my leg lifts and push-ups. So glad to hear your hula hooping. Keep that up. All right, guys. It's we went a little bit over. We said 7:30. I started a little late. Sorry about my technical difficulties getting on here. If I can help anybody in any way, reach out to me. Feel free. You can contact me through here on Facebook. If not, my email is Joel Gandara, just like you see it there, at morrowcapital.com, and that is spelled MORROCAPITAL.com. So I hope you're all going to have a good night. I am off to the gym, and thanks a lot for letting me share with you. I apologize I didn't get to all of those questions just because I lost my place on my phone, and I would have spent all this time digging around trying to find it. Oh wait, I think there's another question. Let's see. Oh no, you're all just being very nice and saying thank you. All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a great night.